Good evening. Let's try it again. Good evening. One more time. Good evening. I'm going to ask the United Nations representative in Guyana to stand. And Mikiko, if you can just turn around. Everyone in the last 4 rows, Ms. Mikiko Tanaka from the United Nations has some United States currency that she will give if you move within 10 seconds to a row in front of you. Move to a row in front of you. Sit down, Mikiko. Thank you, Mikiko. Let's give Ms. Tanaka a round of applause, please. We're going to wait until some people in the last 2-3 rows move up. I need you to move up so that others who come late will not be encumbered in trying to find a place to sit. Members of the head table, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all. I want to welcome you to this 11th edition of Turkeyen Tain Talks, and to remind you that you are part of something special. Something special that our university thinks we ought to be doing, and something special that I'm delighted that we have partners like UNICEF, partners like the Ministry of Education, partners like Pegasus that have joined with us in delivering this series of special events. When Professor Mohamed and I were talking last year about what we might offer for 2018, we thought we might begin with education. And I'll tell you something which I want to share with you. It's a powerful proposition from the East about the importance of education. The saying goes that if you're planning for a year, plant rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. But if you're planning for 100 years, for the long haul, educate people. I'm not the original composer of that. I'm just lending you the wisdom from the East that I've learned. And any nation, especially a nation such as ours, that has a prospect greater than we've got now, has to make central to its intentional efforts the business of education. And so we wanted to start this year's conversations with our community focusing on education, knowing that the conversations are going to be conscious of the limitations, knowing that the conversations will also be conscious of some strengths. And I want to, in the spirit in which Turkeyen Tain Talks always are conducted, encourage people who are here and who are joining us on the web to follow up. The follow-up is important because it allows us to implement or to activate, to actualize some things that we talk about. And I think it was the last Turkeyen Tain Talks, the one on climate change, where we had actualization, we had follow-up from a previous Turkeyen Tain Talks, when the executive director of Nan Persaud group of companies signed right here a memorandum with me to give us some money to do a project at our Berbice campus. We want not only the platitudes, we want the practice. And so if any of you in the audience is so moved by the conversations we'll have here this evening, I want to encourage you to be moved in other ways. How might you help the education project beyond the conversations? How might you help in conversations that we've had last year or in 2016 when we started this, making real some of the desires, some of the intentionality, some of what we talk about. But Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, what you already know, that Turkeyen and Tain Talks just does not happen. It takes a dedicated group of people at the university, along with partners. Some are local, very often some are not local, who help to make these not only planned but executed. So please join me in applauding the work of Professor Mohamed and her team. Please join me in applauding the sponsorship by the Ministry of Education and UNICEF. And I'm always of the mind that whatever they do by way of sponsorship is a down payment for other kinds of sponsorship. So thank you in advance for the other sponsorships that will come. I look forward to learning. I look forward to having every member here and who are joining us on the web learn, but we want to remember the wisdom of that saying from the East. If you're planning for a year, plant rice. If you're planning for 10 years, plant trees. But if you're planning for the long haul, educate people. Welcome.